Hey everyone, I wanted to come on and do a little testing video, but not of materials this time as such, of a sketchbook. So I have been really kindly gifted this incredible sketchbook from Basenotes. I will link them below, and actually they're one of these companies that I kept getting advertised on Instagram, and I was like, I really want that square one because it looks so nice. And then they reached out to me and said they'd like to give me one. So this has been gifted, but it's as if the universe aligned, and I was gifted something I actually already had in my basket and wanted anyway. So I'm really intrigued and excited to try this, which is why I thought I'd do a video for it. Also, I'm about to start drawing every day for 30 days as part of a video I'm doing for my Patreon, which I will also link. I thought, what better sketchbook to use it for, although I'm terrified because you always get that fear, don't you, of using a new sketchbook that you haven't used before, and that's kind of an extra reason why I wanted to do some material testing in it, because before I just jump straight in and do my 30 days drawing, which obviously will not fill this because it's gigantic, I thought it'd be really good to know what kind of materials work well in it. Firstly, what I love about this is literally like a photo album. It lays flat, which is so nice, so when you're working you can really work across these spreads. I love square format, but they do also do other more rectangular sizes as well. They have these like black pages, which I'm really intrigued by. And then they also just have really nice kind of creamy, almost vintagey looking paper for the other pages. And then they also have these like tracing paper type of pages, which is to protect your work. So if you're working there, it means it won't press onto this side. They have it, I think they have it on every one, which is amazing. It does mean you can't work across two, so you kind of work in a different way. So, which is great for me because I always have so many sheets of scrap paper that are kind of tucked into my sketchbook that always blow everywhere when I open it out when I'm drawing on location. Because if I do a nice spread, I hate for it to like press against each other and kind of ruin. And so this does it for me, and it's all bound in, so it's attached, which is really nice. I've got some spec here. This is the 2222, and it says it can be like acrylic, oil paint, ink, pastel, pro use, so it can use all materials on it, which I'm definitely going to test. I don't use oil, and I don't really use much acrylic, but I will test lots of other materials. It's 120 GSM, or GSM as I like to say, which is thinner than what I usually use, but I'm intrigued, especially compared to like a pith. It's a lot thinner, and I think a normal Royal Talens is about 140 or 160, so it is a bit thinner than that. So it says it's heavyweight, and actually it does feel heavier than I was expecting. But it's all about, is it going to go through, is it going to bleed from this side to that side, because these sketchbooks aren't cheap. I think they're about £45, so you want to know these things going in, which is why I'm doing it for you. We've also, this is 22 by 22 centimetre square, this size, and it's got 96 sheets, which is amazing, so many sheets, and it's nice and hard covered, and it's had a sewn lovely binding there, and I love a kind of exposed back bound. I think it's so lovely. Pith do it too, and it's just really lovely, and it does mean you can lay flat. So I always, if you know me, you'll know I don't material test at the beginning. Feels weird. I'll always do it at the back. So if I just come straight to the back, let's do some material testing and see how we get on. Okay, so the first thing I've obviously got to try is my Echelina pens. I have been told before that I pronounce it incorrectly. However, I have been told by lots of people that it's not pronounced Ecoline. That's how kind of British people tend to pronounce it. But Echelina is the traditional way of pronouncing it. So, but whichever way you want to do. But my pink beige, let's have a like rose pink. That's nice because it doesn't feel like it's soaking it in loads. Let's have a look at the other side. So far that test is good, and it goes on really nicely. It doesn't feel like it's fighting it. You know how some just feel like they're kind of like taking all of the ink out of your pen. And just try a sepia light and just kind of layer a bit. Again, nothing through the other side. So this is a very, very good start. Let's go in with the Tombows just to see. It's another water-based pen, but let's see if they go. It literally feels really nice. I actually really love the texture. It's a different colour to other sketchbooks. If I just pull out, so a moleskin. This is a moleskin watercolour, but as you can see, it's like a bit browner than that. So it's not as bright and light cream. It's kind of a more muted cream. A pith, again, more muted. And a Royal Talons, which is nearly full, so I need to just find an empty page. This is much more yellow, which is really interesting. So this is much more of a neutral, natural colour, and I'm so used to this yellowness. So actually this could be really lovely to work on. Let's give it a go. Okay, so let's try some gouache paint first. It feels really easy. Like it feels like it's not fighting it, it sits on it really nicely. It's actually so much nicer than I expected. I think that was my one worry with this, which is why I hesitated and hadn't bought it yet, because I thought, is it going to be more of a sketchbook for just pencil sketches rather than multimedia, even though it said multimedia. I wasn't sure if the paper was going to feel really thin, and actually it really doesn't. It is really, really nice, and this is like an honest review. They're not paying me or anything. I was intrigued. Obviously the sketchbook was gifted, but all of this is my genuine reaction. So that's gouache. Let's try a watercolour. I'm assuming it will be similar. Yeah, it feels great. I could definitely also go back to the gouache and use a bit of thicker gouache, just so we can really see what it's like, thick versus thin. So let's get the gouache back. So I'm using a misty green Holbein. It's an acrylic gouache. You can get some nice thick. And again, that feels like the paper's taking it really nicely. That doesn't feel at all like it's fighting. We're getting a little bit of bobblage. So like when the paper is kind of wanting to curl a little bit, which I think lots of sketchbooks have, unless you're working in a watercolour specific sketchbook or a pith, because both of those, even a pith will do it if you put loads on, but I find that like watercolours kind of often stay a bit flatter, but other sketchbooks do all wobble a bit, and I'm hoping when it dries and you press it shut, it will just kind of flatten again. So let's just do a quick check. Again, I'm seeing a bit of like the kind of shape come through of the wobble more than the colour. So a real test will be when it's dried, and then we can like really see, so we're not getting confused. But let's just go in with some pencil crayons. I'm assuming these will be fine. That's actually really nice because the paper has a very slight texture. It's a really nice way of naturally adding texture to your illustrations. Obviously the harder you press, then you can actually get rid of that, so it's not a texture that's so difficult to, like so bumpy that you can't push through it. But when you're shading lightly, you can have that slight speckledness, which is really, really nice. So if I press hard with this, it's nice and solid. So far so good. We've got gouache, marker pens, watercolour, pencil crayons. What about something like a pan pastel? So again, that works really nicely. It just kind of fills the page, which is really nice, so you don't have to even put that much on, and it does go into those nice, like that texture, so it's not kind of fighting it. So that's a great, so far this is a win. Neo colours, I would expect nothing less than them being great because of their waxy texture. But again, just like the pencil, you can lightly shade and have some texture. And I do also feel like I'm able to kind of build a bit. I don't feel like the paper's going to tear. The only thing is that bobble, nothing is coming through. The real test will be ink, because ink is obviously something that often bleeds. So we've got a chisel tip pigment liner here. I'm going to really colour in this section to see. So colouring quite a lot brought some of that texture from the paper off a little bit. And it hasn't even shown through. I am so surprised with this. I really thought this was going to come through. We can really throw it and see if a Sharpie goes through. I would say that's the only thing that's starting to speckle through, and I really layered that. The normal line Sharpie shows very slightly, but it's the kind of like really building it up, and that is a permanent marker, so I wouldn't normally be using that anyway. I just was intrigued. But all round, this seems really good. I'm just going to allow that to fully dry, and then let's just double check that other page. So what I just realised is I didn't actually do this at the back of the book. I still have loads of book. I'm so not used to how many pages are in this sketchbook. It's crazy. I did the back of one of the sections, but that's okay. At least it's not in the front. And actually, the only thing as before that came through was that Sharpie. It has bobbled a bit, and it's bobbled the protector page. However, with a heavy, because it's a heavy book, and with it closed and pressed, I think that might flatten out. But my real test will be that I'm going to be using this sketchbook to draw every day for 30 days. And obviously, hopefully more, but every day without fail for 30 days. And that will be the real test of like how it is, and how the pages are with different materials, and how I feel using it. And if you want to know all about that, then make sure to check out my Patreon and to keep an eye on the advanced illustration tier, because that's where I will be doing the drawing every day for a month and chatting all about what I learn and my process, as well as sharing all of those 30 illustrations with you too. So looking forward to seeing you over there. But thank you so much. This is it for me today with this sketchbook. This has been a little review of the Basenotes Square Sketchbook, and as before, I'll link it up below, but do click subscribe if you would like to see more of my videos, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks guys, bye.